All Three Beards Media podcasts originate from the Gravitate Co-working Studio, sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company.
Hey everybody, what's up? We are back with a new episode of Like Father, Like Daughter. We have Caitlin in the back, and we have a special guest. I'm super excited. My nephew, Nick Parcel. Guys, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Doing good.
Tired.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've had an episode because Caitlin teaches and she's tired all the time, which I frankly think is a BS reason. So
yeah, no. You wanted to switch our already prominent time established for a different spot, a weeknight spot. And I said, absolutely not. I will not go live during the week.
That's I mean, all the good shows move around and they're on Thursdays and then they're on Mondays. You just got to flip the lineup a little bit.
Dude, you don't think our show's the best on your podcast media company. Be real.
Oh, God, no. God, no.
Hey, nice light, sir.
Thanks. I forgot to turn it on. All right, Nick, what is up with you? Tell a little bit about, obviously you are my sister's youngest, and go from there.
Yeah, so I live down in Eldon, Missouri, just north of Lake of the Ozarks. Work full-time every day. It's never stopped since the age of 17. And then I have a side business building motorcycles, custom motorcycles. So pretty stoked about that. It's something I've worked on and off with for almost 15, 20 years. And I'm really grabbing the horns now and I'm going after it. So it's pretty cool, pretty exciting right now.
It looks pretty sweet back there. Is that your shop back there?
Yep. Right now I'm working out of a 2-car garage, but everybody starts somewhere, and who we're talking about tonight. We've all got stories about how he started. So
that's right. Yeah. He didn't even have a 2-car garage.
No, he did not.
So, well, and here I am in my fancy studio, which is actually my basement. So
hey,
we
all
have that. We all have that same.
My apartment living room on the south side
right.
of Des Moines. So
exactly. What is your regular job during the day? I guess I've never asked you that.
So I am they call me a telematics specialist. I don't know how much of a specialist I am. I deal with asset telematics for our construction fleet.
Okay.
We're basically just in a general, we're a bridge, concrete, quarry, and paving company. So we've got over, I would say, probably 1,300 assets at this point. And I kind of manage that through a platform called T3, and we track their services, utilization, that type of stuff off the GPS tracking devices. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. So I'll ask you this, because I just went through a nightmare of fucking applying for jobs and going through all kinds of bullshit to get this new job that I start on the 14th. Now, that particular job, it wasn't hard. I mean, it was a great process, but what made you get that job, and how did you get into that industry, I guess? I mean,
so it's actually funny that you asked that, because I was talking with a guy at work last week. It's actually my boss. He kind of started out grassroots like I did in diesel mechanics. I actually started in this industry that I'm in now. I started in it way back when I ran concrete plants. I started out as a ready mix driver in Des Moines for American Concrete, which they're out of business now. Old Castle sold them right when I left to move down here. I ran a concrete plant in Des Moines for quite a few years. And then I left there and went to Interstate Power Systems in Altoona. And the guy I used to know that ran that shop said, "Hey man, you build engines, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do, but not for a living, you know." And he said, "Why don't you come out and build an engine for us? And if everything dynos and everything's good, you know, we'll offer you a job." And I ended up doing that, and I built engines every day there. And then Oldcastle, the company that owned American Concrete, found out I was working there, and Terry Thomas called me and he said, "How much money is it going to take you to leave that job, come back here and do the same thing for us?" Because they were bleeding at the arteries, outsourcing their work to us.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So he found out I worked there, and he was like, what's it going to take? So I threw something just ridiculous at him. I was like, because I didn't want to leave my job, you know.
That's a Melvin move, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a Melvin move. You just throw something out there, you figure, what the hell?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I was like, my wife at the time, you know, I went home that night and I was like, "You'll never believe what happened today." I got called and I was working and answered the phone. It was Terry Thomas, and he goes, "I don't care what the number is. I'll whatever it takes to get you. And do you have anybody else there that will come with you that you would recommend?" I ended up taking 2 of my buddies with me.
Yeah.
But I threw a just astronomical number at him, and he's like, "Yep, we can do that." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. I got to go home and sleep for a minute, you know, and
Right.
get my head right." And I ended up taking the job and went back, did the same work there, diesel mechanics. And then I wanted to move further south and come down towards the lake. So I put in a resume down here, ran a diesel shop at the lake for this company, Capital, and just kind of transitioned into what I'm doing now. I think they've seen that I was pretty savvy with PCs, and you know, a lot of that is a test to you and Grandpa and the shop that you guys had. And
yeah,
I learned a lot there that was, you know, inadvertent lessons, I think, you know, just being there every day in the summertime, and you know, being around all you guys, Todd and all that. So
yeah,
I picked up on a lot of that stuff when I was younger, and I was able to just kind of transition into this position. And now I hate to say this, but I sit at a desk every day, and it's just not me. You know what I mean?
I know. I can't. I'm having a hard time picturing that.
Yeah, it's just it's weird. I literally, like, when I left, you know, I was running the shop there, and when I took this new position, I got moved over to it's like a satellite corporate building.
Yeah,
it's on the same site, like the shop's there and all that stuff. But I got moved over there, and he's like, "I don't want you anywhere near the shop. I want you to come over here to this office and this and that." And I moved in there, and I literally felt like I was going to get fired, because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything, which I was busy all day.
Yeah.
You know, like just completely buried, but the physical exertion wasn't there.
Right.
You know? So I just felt guilty every day. And it probably took me 6 months to like acclimate to that.
You know,
now I'm good, but you know,
that's funny, because when I went to go work for BH, which is a property management company in the IT department, I left Wells Fargo, which was a call center. So you were trained to take a ticket, fix it, take the next call, take the next call, take the next call. So I go over there. There's no phone calls. It's all just a ticket system, and you work it as you go. And there were days I would like take 30 or 40 tickets, and I'd be sitting here going, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, because this is way easier than it should be.
Yeah.
You know, and I would sit there and I'd be like, and after a while I'd be like, well, nobody's come over here and told me what a fuck up I am yet. So I must be doing okay.
Just roll with it.
Right. Like I must be okay. You know, I was like, and then I remember it was probably 4 months in, and then we had a meeting, and the manager went over these numbers, and I had done 3 times the amount of tickets of the other 2 guys combined. And I'll never forget this guy, Adam, who I worked with, after the meeting, walked up to my desk and goes, "Hey, you need to knock that shit off. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like,
Making
dude,
them look bad.
you can't. You're
You were
making
being a
us all
try hard.
And I go, so what you want me to do is do my job less efficient so you can look better? Yeah. Fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it either.
Right. But then the same thing. I was in a meeting, I was in a training class, and I walked out, and the VP of marketing said, "Hey, Chris, you don't know anybody with an IT background that wants a marketing job, do you?" And I go, "Yeah. How about me?" So because I had IT experience, she needed somebody with IT experience. She could teach the design and marketing aspect of it.
Sure.
But that IT portion of it is really hard sometimes to find somebody that's good at it.
Yeah, I got lucky with this position because it was kind of a ground roots position that we started moving into this automation and stuff as a company. We didn't have anybody that was, up to do it really.
Right.
And I think, they seen that, hey, he's pretty savvy with this stuff. He does it anyway and runs a shop. Just let him move forward with it. So a lot of it's been kind of ground roots and me just learning on the fly. But I don't know. It's kind of cool how I ended up there. But
that is a cool. And it's funny. I was telling when I was looking for a job last year, I had a friend of mine that had just retired as an editor of a magazine. And his previous job before that, he'd done that for like 30 years. But his previous job before that was a radio DJ. And he told me the story of how he got that job. And he's like, I didn't know anything about it. Was Wood magazine. He's like, I didn't know anything about wood. I sure as hell didn't know anything about editing a magazine, but I was smart and they hired me and I figured it out. And I said, that shit would never happen now today. The amount of hoops you have to jump through to get a job, and they look at your resume and they don't even there's no way that that would happen now. And it's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame that stuff like that goes on because there's a lot of talented people that could do a job, but because they don't have certain check marks on a resume, they don't even get a chance.
Or if they're not fresh out of college and they can pay them next to nothing.
Right.
I mean, they like to take those kids that are fresh out of college because they don't have to pay them as much as they would have to pay you, somebody with 10 years experience.
Those guys are looking for a worm, so they'll take anything they can get. They're hungry.
Yep. Yeah. And then 3 years later, they figure out this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm moving on to something else.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. I didn't go to college, I just didn't take that route, but some days I wish I would have. But with the way that I've been able to navigate as an adult, it wouldn't have made any difference where I'm at right now. So
yeah, I've had lots of conversations with this because there are some people and some friends of yours, Dad, that I've had this comment, and they're like, well, that's really expensive. It's overpriced when you could go to a trade school. And I was like, absolutely. I think college was beneficial for me because I wanted to be a teacher. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Like if I want to do that, I have to go to college.
You have to have it. Yeah.
Right.
Right. And so, but I do think that there is a lot to say about, high schools pushing higher education and how that's not always the best course for someone. I mean, my boyfriend Walker, he was not a school guy. He's like, I just need to get in there and do it, and he works as a beer man now and driving, and that's what he likes to do. And there's no way that he would need to go, he would have been able to go to college because that's just not his thing, not his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a definite narrative that you can't be successful unless you go get a college education.
And I think that's what the media pushes too. I mean, a lot of media and social media, I think, pushes that too. Well,
and Grandpa had a really good outlook on it. When I went to school, what he said was, he said, I don't necessarily think you going to college is going to make you any smarter of a person down the road. The only thing that college education is going to do is open doors for you that wouldn't open for me.
Yep.
And that's the truth, right?
Yep,
so,
it is.
But it's definitely not what everybody should do. And frankly, there's times that I wish I wouldn't have done it. I could be a lot farther ahead if I wouldn't have went to 4 years of college and then, let's face it, worked 6 years for grandpa. I mean, I sometimes look back and go, man, I could be so much farther ahead in my life if I wouldn't have done that. But then I wouldn't have the memories that I had of working with grandpa. So,
Well,
sure.
and I mean, do you wish you could have gone back and not tried to change your major to leisure studies?
Okay. All right. So listen, I'm telling you right now, I should have stuck with that. That would have been a gold mine. That would have been a gold mine. So,
What,
all right,
working
but
golf course?
so 8 to 5 job, but your real passion is behind you. Right?
Yes,
Right behind you.
absolutely.
So,
This is what I don't know if I'll ever be able to cut the chains of, the norm of, having to work a 9 to 5, but I'm working towards that. And when I get confident and cocky enough, I'm gonna chop the chain.
There's nothing wrong with that. And let's talk about it. Your love of working on cars and stuff like that came with you and your dad, Phil.
Yep, absolutely. He planted the seed in me when I was about 4 years old. I remember I actually posted a picture. It wasn't the actual picture of my bike because I don't have it, but it was a little 3.5 horsepower Tecumseh mini bike that my dad got me when I was 4. And that is, I was thinking the other day while I was driving.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day when I was driving, I was like, man, when did all this start? When did all this chaos start for me? And I take it all back to that little mini bike. And when he gave that to me that day, and it was just, that's all I've really,
signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah, it's just been a lifelong passion of mine since then. I mean, it's always been there. So,
man, I wish you had some of that, because there are some things like I hate walking into a shop and the mechanic being like, well, this is what your fluid looks like and this is what it should look like, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what
I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that I have Melvin.
Well, maybe you should have hung out with Phil more.
I did hang out with Phil, so that's
not enough,
actually that's what I was going to say is that's one of the things that I'm trying to do with this family podcast is to bring things together like that, because I would have loved, Caitlin, for you to be able to experience the family when we had Phil around and Mike. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not that I don't care for the people that are in our family now. I do. But those times when Phil and Mike were around were probably the happiest I think this family's been.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, so I've got this great Phil story, and Nick, I'm not sure that you know this story. Grandpa sent us to go get firewood for the fireplace for the house on, oh God, I can't even remember where it was. He had a fireplace. It was the one on Leech, on the corner of 5th and Leech.
Mm-hmm.
So all I remember is Phil, we drove up to the Quick Trip to get firewood, and he walks in and walks back out, and we loaded probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 loads of firewood. And we're doing it fairly quickly, and I don't understand why. And we get down the road, and I find out he paid for 2 bundles, and I think we had 8 in the truck.
That does not surprise me one bit.
He was like, hurry up. And I was like, what is the big deal? I don't understand what the big deal is.
That does not surprise me.
Now I look and I go, well, holy shit, man. He almost made me a felon just when I was like 12. Like, that's ridiculous.
Oh, that does not surprise me. He's a character.
And I can't remember what car it was, but I'll always remember, I think it was like a gold colored, like Chevelle.
Before I was born?
Yes. Yeah.
That was a Chevelle.
Yes, it was it
was an Impala. It was an Impala.
Yeah, and I loved that car.
Yeah, that was an Impala. He got right out of the military.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I've heard about that car my entire life, so I know exactly what car you're talking about.
All right, so we got Lindsay chiming in. Funny how little things that seemed insignificant as a kid become such a huge influence on your future. And Jess says that was the best. I remember Lindsay and I staying with Uncle Phil and Aunt Jackie. We went with Uncle Phil somewhere and we drove him nuts calling him Uncle Flip. He probably wanted to smack the shit out of us.
Oh man. I remember the girls calling him that all the time.
But in Super Bowl's coming up, and again, this brings back memories. I can't tell you how many Super Bowls I sat and watched with Phil and Mike.
Yeah.
You
guys watched a lot of football together.
We did. Watched a lot of football
Movies,
together.
right?
Movies. Yeah. Thanksgiving night, me and him and Phil would go to a movie. He lucked out. He didn't have to go to the postman with me and Mike. You ever seen that movie?
Yes, it's horrible.
It's fucking horrible. And Mike drugged me to this movie. He was so psyched because it was like some post-war apocalypse movie, and he was so stoked for this thing. And all it was this dude resurrecting the post office. And at one point I looked over and he's sound fucking asleep in the theater. And I was like, dude, you dragged me to this fucking thing, so wake up. I'm forcing you to watch the rest of this movie.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
Oh my God, it's so bad. But you know what? I'll watch it every time it's on now.
Oh yeah.
I will watch it every time it's on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, that story you told of Phil reminded me at the time Grandpa tried to get you to steal somebody else's table from an auction or something and tried to get you to load it up on the car, and they caught you and he called you a dumbass, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So if we're going to just transition right into the Melvin stories, let's just start with that one. And again, kids, I don't recommend this. This is not endorsed.
Yeah. We do not endorse cheating,
lying,
stealing,
and right. So
breaking the law.
We were at an auction, and my job only was to load the truck. That was it. I didn't know what he bought. I had no fucking idea. So we're loading the stuff up, and he says, the next thing that gets loaded is this coffee table over here. Okay. So I grabbed the coffee table, and this guy walks over, and he's like, hey, that's not yours. That's mine. I bought that. And Dad turned around and goes, God damn it, Chris. Not that table. I didn't tell you to grab that table. And I was like, you motherfucker.
Just gaslight.
I was like, are you shitting me right now?
Yeah.
God.
That's Grandpa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, again, I don't endorse that. All right. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to start in on the Melvin stories. And Jess, Linz, if you've got any, you can chime those in as well. We're going to grab a quick break from Gravitate and from Revelton, and then we'll come back and we're telling Melvin stories.
Why take the best corn in the world and make it into fuel when you could make it into whiskey? That's the question that launched Revelton, Iowa's most visible and fastest growing distillery. Owners Rob and Christy Taylor embrace the grain-to-glass philosophy, sourcing ingredients locally and overseeing on-premises production and bottling at their facility in Osceola. One sip, and you'll agree that Revelton's handcrafted whiskeys, gins, and vodkas are the best you've ever tasted. And with the launch of their rye whiskey, made with 100% Iowa-grown rye and corn, and their new bourbon coming soon, there's more Revelton to love than ever. Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. The great thing about working from home is working from home. The worst thing is working from home, especially for face-to-face collaborations with customers and coworkers. And let's face it, coffee shop meetings are neither private nor professional. So skip the trip to Starbs and investigate Gravitate Co-working Space. For more than 10 years, Gravitate has provided large and small office and conference spaces perfect for hosting meetings, workshops, or other events, as well as private phone booths for confidential conversations. Plus, all spaces include secure fiber internet, free coffee, and access to a kitchenette. All you need is your laptop. Gravitate does the rest. And renting space at Gravitate is surprisingly affordable. An hour of office space costs about the same as venti caramel macchiatos and breakfast sandwiches for two. Daily and monthly rates are also available with no long-term commitment. Learn more at gravitatecoworking.com. That's gravitatecoworking.com.
Okay, we are back. Caitlin, you can start with your first Melvin story.
Okay, my first, it's more of like, okay, so you have to remember, Grandpa died when I was 12.
Yes.
So a lot of mine are like memories. So my first memory is
That's what we said. We're doing memories.
yeah. Okay.
Good. Yeah.
So
Good job.
my one of my first memories with Grandpa. Gosh, there's so many. But every day after preschool, Grandma would come pick me up, and because I would only go to AM preschool, and Taylor was at South Union. No, it was still Granger at the time. Was
Right.
at Granger full day. So it was really cool because I got the afternoon with Nana and Papa to myself. And so Nana would bring me back and she'd make lunch, and Grandpa would sit with me, would let me sit on his lap and watch SpongeBob with me every day. I don't even think he like knew what was on. And I know that man did not share his TV, but he would share it with me while I would eat lunch, and then I would go take my nap and he got the TV back.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, just from that story right there, that man changed a lot from
No shit.
when you was a kid. Because there wasn't none of that happening when I was little.
Right.
That's what I told Dad. I said, this is why I want
No
to rank.
way.
I said, we need to rank our grandpa memes because it's going to be real interesting hearing the different eras, you know?
That was just an old man trying to get into heaven is all that.
That's true.
There's no fucking way you got the TV.
That's a different man than the one I knew.
He'd be sound asleep on the couch, and you'd walk in there and turn the TV, and he'd go, "I'm watching that."
Yeah.
Nope.
No, you're not.
He would turn it to SpongeBob for me every day, or Max and Ruby, and he would watch with me while I ate my lunch, and I'd take my nap, and he'd get his CNN back.
You could hear Grandpa's TV when you pulled in the driveway.
Yes.
That's how loud that thing was.
Oh my God. It was
I have a follow-up story for that. That goes into my second.
All right, Nick.
Dang, man, he's in there partying.
Right. All right, Nick, go ahead.
Watching the History Channel.
Right. Your turn, Nick.
So I've got a few. It didn't take me long, but I've got one that really stuck out immediately, and that was Grandpa. It was the house on 5th and Leach on the corner, not the house that you lived in.
Right.
Not the old house, the newer one.
Yeah, the one on the corner. Yep.
Yeah. And he just put in a brand new screen door in the back. Remember how it had a garage door in the front and a garage door in the back?
Yeah.
But it had a walk-through door going out the back to the old house.
Yes.
And he just put this screen door in. It was busted or something. I don't know what the deal was with it. It's been a long time, but he just put that thing in like the day prior. Dusty and I were downstairs on the sectional down in the basement with the big screen TV, that big, huge sucker that he had.
Yeah.
And we were watching a movie or something, and Dusty and I don't know, I don't even remember what happened, but him and I got into it. I threw a pillow at his face, and I mean, it just like cold cocked him right in the side of the face. And I took off running up the stairs, and when you got to the top of the stairs, you could go right into the kitchen, or you could go straight out into the garage. So I went straight through that door into the garage, and then took a left, busted a left, and took off out that back screen door. Dusty was like hot on my trail. You know how quick he was.
Yeah, he was fast.
I was the ogre, and he was like, you know, I was never faster than that kid. But he chased me all the way out into the garage, all the way to that door, and I just thought, all right, he's on my tail. I'm going to pop out the door and then slam it real quick. And that's exactly what I did. When I did that, he ran through the bottom of it and broke popped the whole panel out of the bottom of the screen door. It was just a screen door on the top, and then the aluminum, panel on the bottom.
Oh my God.
So we're out in the backyard at this point and assessing the damage. Me and Dusty are, and I started laughing. And no more than I had started laughing, Grandpa was walking out that same door.
Oh yeah, the laughing stopped.
Well, I didn't stop. I wasn't smart enough to stop. I kept laughing, and Grandpa walked right over to me. I mean, grabbed me by the back of my shirt, and he beat my ass.
Yeah,
right there. And I'm like, Grandpa, I didn't break it. Dusty broke it. I didn't break it. and he beat me anyway. And Dusty got away with it. Dusty didn't get beat that time. I did.
Oh my God. I think see, Caitlin's gonna have these sweet little grandpa stories, and yours or I are gonna be the ones where we got in trouble.
Yeah.
I can see the theme already. Okay, so I was oh God, I was probably sophomore in college. And I was living in that house, that same house, and I was driving back and forth to Ames to go to school. And I had just wrecked I had wrecked the Camaro that I had, and it was getting fixed. So I was borrowing Dad's conversion van. So I drove it a couple days, and I put the radar detector was in there, and I think I moved it or whatever. I used his radar detector from his other car, and I had to pull the cigarette lighter out to plug it in, right? So, I don't know, long story short, I parked the van, I'm done with it. I got my car back. The next morning, it's like 6 a.m, and he comes in and he kicks the fucking door in. And he just starts screaming. Where the fuck is my radar detector? And where the fuck is the cigarette lighter at? And I come flying out of that bed and I go, hey, stupid, you sold the radar detector 2 days ago, because he would sell his shit all the time. Somebody wanted to buy it, he would sell it. He forgot. And I said, come here. And I walked him out to the thing, and I opened up the little compartment, and the cigarette lighter was right in there. And I said, there. Now, do you feel like an ass? And he goes, no, you should put that shit away by yourself. He's like, and there was no accountability whatsoever.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I apologize. I shouldn't have yelled at you. There was none of that. None of that.
No.
But he had sold the radar detector 2 days ago. And I'm like, which, Caitlin, you don't have the appreciation of being able
I know
to watch...
what a radar detector is, my
I
friend.
know, but you don't have the appreciation to know what it was like to watch family videos on 8 different types of tapes, because grandma never got to keep the same camcorder for more than 6 months.
We'd get a new one, try it out, and then that's it.
And then somebody would want to buy it, and Dad would sell it,
Yeah.
and then get another one with a different type of tape. Lindsay said, wait, didn't you... Lindsay wants to know, didn't you run through the screen door upstairs once and didn't realize there was a screen?
Yes. Yes, I did. Going out to the deck, I walked right into that sucker. You know the deck out on the front.
Yes.
Yes,
and he had those French doors.
Right into that thing.
He had those French doors.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the time he bought a brand new doorknob for that, and he bought a faucet. And he spent like $300 on this faucet and doorknob. And I was like, what kind of a world are we living in now that you can afford to buy? I was like, nobody's going to come in here and bust in here and steal anything. They're just going to steal the fucking doorknob and the faucet, for fuck's sake. I was like, I can't believe you spent $300 on this.
Oh, my.
It was the fanciest looking doorknob I had ever seen in my life.
Nicest thing in the whole house.
Oh, God, it was so funny. All right, Caitlin.
All right.
Go ahead.
My second one that I had written down was, so we all knew that Grandpa was born with his ear closed.
Yep.
Yeah. So he would let me, I had like one of those fake microphones, like they were all plastic, but they kind of echoed inside, and they echoed your voice a little bit, but it wasn't a real microphone. But he would let me sing in that microphone as loud as I wanted to, as long as I was on his bad ear side. And then he didn't care how loud I was being.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I can go with that. That makes total sense.
And then coupled with, there was one time I had to include this one too. And I think, Dad, you could go into my bedroom, look in the hope chest, and find them right now, because I know Grandma put them in there. But when Grandpa, on his 68th birthday, I said, I'm going to make him 68 gifts, right? Like I was, I don't even know how old I was, probably 5 or 6. I was determined. I had this little roll top desk at Grandma's house that she had set with paints and colors for me and papers. There's benefit to being the youngest grandchild. You get all this cool stuff at their house that she'll just have set up for you.
Yeah.
And And I was like, I'm going to make 68 gifts for grandpa for his 68th birthday. And I think I got to like the fourth one and I ran out of ideas and grabbed a paper plate and just wrote a big 6-8 in black paint. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And then I was like, okay, I can't make 68. I told Nana, I was like, you think grandpa's going to be mad? Think Papa's going to be mad I didn't make 68? She's like, I don't think he'll be mad at all. But I just remember I was determined to get 68. But it was just like paper, or like I was cutting up paper plates. And I think grandma was okay with me not making 68 because
she was over it.
Paper
she was over that project. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, those were those two.
I'm trying to bring up
old caring man who let his granddaughter run the house.
Right. I'm trying to bring up. Here we go. I got it. I'm going to bring up a picture of the house that we're talking about.
Oh.
When was the last time you saw this, Nick?
I want to say at least 15, 20 years, probably. I haven't been, I mean, I lived in Des Moines, but I never went down that street much.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's the screen door I ran into.
There's the screen door right there that he ran into.
Man, that house, it looks
right.
smaller than it was. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, it just seemed
I know.
bigger.
I was hoping I could find some internal photos from Zillow.
But somebody bought it.
Yeah, somebody bought it. They used to be on Zillow with some old photos, but
yeah, when it was for sale, because I think it was for sale, and we would look it up.
Yeah. Well, some of the rental photos sometimes are still on there. So.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we've hit the Melvin. We've got some good memories there. So
wait,
all right,
I have one more that I have to tell you. Wait, I have one more I have to tell you because it has to do with him selling.
Okay.
If it has a price, he can sell it. So there was one time at a garage sale. This is when I figured out that Grandpa was not always a nice, caring, sweet man, because I went to a garage sale with Grandma, and at the garage sale, they had basically like Bluetooth headphones before Bluetooth, but it would connect to the TV wirelessly so that he could listen to the TV. And I was like, Nana, this would be so good because then we wouldn't have to listen to the news, and then he wouldn't have to ask us to be quiet because then he could just listen to it. And she's like, okay, if you want to get them for him, let's get them. I think I paid like $5 for them at the garage sale. And I come back a few days later. I gave him to Grandpa. He was super excited. He's like, oh, thank you. This is such a good idea. I can't wait to use these. I come back a few days later. The headphones are nowhere to be found. And I don't even know. And I asked Grandpa, and he's like, I don't know, honey. That's weird. And I asked Grandma, she's like, oh yeah, honey. He sold those on eBay.
That sounds right.
And he probably made like 5 times as much as I paid for
sure
them.
There's no doubt that
that's when I figured out this man had an agenda.
Yeah, there's no doubt that was him for sure. Oh my God. You'll never guess what I just found. I found a picture of that house with Dad's truck in the front.
Really?
Yeah. You remember this truck?
It's a red Ford, probably.
Nope, it's that blue one that he had the canopy on, and
I remember that truck.
You know
I got to stop here for a second.
That's what the house looked like.
When did Dad ever decorate the outside of the house? I don't remember that.
That's
his truck. So they lived here. That had to be Grandma, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't remember them ever decorating the outside of the house.
I don't either.
Also, can I just point out that at one point they painted the trailer yellow with green trim, so it seems they have a favorite.
Yeah, they have a
have a look, a signature look they like.
Yeah,
just by the truck, and that he bought that truck brand new, so that was probably 1996.
Yep,
that picture.
God, I wanted that truck so bad.
That truck was cool.
It was cool. It had a sunroof in it.
Yeah.
And then he ruined it by putting this fucking topper on it. I was like, Dad, that's like the coolest truck ever, and you just made it look like a grandpa thing with that fucking topper on there. It was terrible.
Speaking of him and driving, do you remember how he used to freak me out when he drove? When I rode with him, I would watch his right foot on the accelerator, and that thing was just like mash it, and then he'd let off, and then he'd mash it and let off. He used to freak me out, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about that. Jess said I remember eating on the deck once, and Nick said you treat me like dirt on the floor.
Oh my!
Oh man,
I don't know how Jesse remembers that stuff. I don't have that good of a memory.
I don't either. Like I don't remember
all that stuff from when we was kids.
I don't remember the screen story. I don't remember that at all. I remember you and Dusty riding in my van, and I busted that CD because you guys wouldn't stop fucking playing that CD. Yeah. So I took it out, snapped it in half, and threw it out the window.
I actually wanted to touch on that because
yeah, Caitlin.
I was laughing so hard. Yeah, you took us to do something that day, and I think we were just running errands with you. You're like, you guys want to go or whatever, and we went with you.
You know what? And it was the black truck. It was your
black Dodge.
Yeah, it was my black Dodge truck.
Okay,
that's right.
Wait. I need to know the age difference here. So how old were you at this time?
Okay, so I had the black truck.
How old were you when Dusty and Nick were born?
Okay, so God, fuck. What year were you born?
I was born in 82 and Dusty was born in 80.
Okay, so I was 10 and 12.
Okay.
So I was 12 years older than Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 94 is when I bought that truck right before Taylor was born. So
you were about 26.
Yeah, so I was about 25, 26. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were 12 and 14. So they were dickheads.
Yeah, they were middle school boys.
Let's just start the story with the facts that they were dickheads.
That they were middle school boys. Let's put it in perspective.
So this is Caitlin. This is what happened. Uncle Chris had that truck was bad, by the way. I love that.
It was badass. I'm going to find a picture of one.
So
find the one with you and Taylor, with Taylor's little mini that you got her.
I don't even know where that's at.
So Uncle Chris took us on. He was like, "You guys want to go run errands?" We ran to the bank. We did all this stuff, and me and Dusty stayed in the truck. Well, he went into the bank, and we kept putting this Dusty. I'm going to blame Dusty. I'm blaming Dusty. Dusty put this Boston CD in the CD player and he cranked it all the way up. Yeah, I mean, he had that thing blaring in his brand new truck, and Uncle Chris, you could see his face when he walked out of the bank. It was like, oh man, he's going to snap, because we're in there. We got his stuff cranked. We're listening to Boston. And
I had Melvin's temper.
Yeah, he got in the truck, didn't say a word to either one of us, press the eject button on the CD player, and the CD come out, and he just put it in his hand, and he snapped that thing in a million pieces right there in the truck. And he said, I told you to shut it off. I'll never forget that. I was like, dang, man, he snapped.
This is the same man who would pick me up from middle school, and I would say, can you play your 80s music as loud as you can when you pick me up? And he would have all the windows down and drive and pick me up from school with the music blaring.
Oh my God. I believe I once did that. In all fairness, I did that once to Taylor too, because she wouldn't stop playing some video game to go clean her room, and I walked over and ejected the game and snapped it right in front of her face.
I was like, dang, he's breaking his own stuff.
I was like, well, serves me right for buying a Boston CD anyways. Jesus, what was I thinking? It was ridiculous.
You just commit to the bit fully, man. Even
I did. I snapped that video game, and it probably cost me $50.
Yeah.
But I was that pissed.
But the lesson is priceless. I mean,
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. We got to move on. All right. We're ranking snack cakes now. We're getting to the serious shit now. First of all, I already know Caitlin's going to be completely wrong about this.
Oh my God.
All right. So I've got images of some snack cakes. We'll go with the top row first. What's the best one out of the top row? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Mhm.
OCPs.
I'm gonna have to go for them honey buns.
Ugh.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Are you serious?
Gotta do that
That's
honey
the worst
buns,
one.
man.
That's the worst one up there.
But it's in the same row as cosmic brownies.
I
oatmeal
never
cream
really
pies.
thought. There's no way I thought you would have said honey bun.
I used to shred those things. I would eat a whole box of those. Those things are good.
Was it Grandpa Honey Buns, man?
Yes.
Yeah, like Grandma would buy a whole bunch from the
Yeah.
grocery store for him.
That's probably why I like them so much, because I
It's
stole
probably
them
why.
from him.
You just stole them, yeah.
I would say Swiss rolls, but they used to piss me off because when you'd unroll them from that
Pull the chocolate off
it'd
of
pull
them.
the chocolate off, right? So it's got to be cosmic brownies.
Those aren't bad.
Mine are oatmeal cream pies.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, those are top tier, God tier.
Nope.
Nope.
The best.
No. Well, God, we're not. And none of us are going to have the right answer. All right, second row.
Fudge rounds.
Oh my
Zebra.
God.
I'm
Zebra
doing
cakes.
zebra
Thank you
cake.
very much. The zebra cakes are. You can eat a whole box in a sitting. When you can eat a whole box in a sitting, that's the goat.
Yep,
Wait.
I'm rocking the zebras.
Wait,
That's
if
right.
I'm getting a little Debbie cake, I'm usually getting the Christmas tree ones. Those ones I can go for. I love the
that's the same thing.
Those are close.
Those are
Same
Lindsay,
thing, just different
But I-
shape.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know why they got rid of the nuts on those brownies, other than the fact that maybe peanut allergies or whatever. But the cosmic brownies that had the nuts instead, those
Mhm.
were way better.
Oh,
Way
I
better.
like the M&Ms.
Zebra cakes. Nick's right.
Yep.
Fudge rounds.
Okay, this next middle row,
Oh.
and
I'm
I
gonna
swear to
let
God,
Caitlin try
I
first.
swear to God, if you say Star Crunch, I'm ending this fucking thing right now.
I think I already know what it is, but
I was gonna say Star Crunch because I've never had a zinger.
I'm gonna do
What?
them chocolate zingers are the ones.
I've never had a zinger. I don't know what the thing next to the zingers are. And I don't really like ho-hos and I don't like snowballs. So I would
Okay.
have to go with Star Crunch.
Okay, so I'm going to use Lindsay's line. You know where you went wrong in life, Caitlin? The fact that you never had a zinger.
Those things are the bomb.
Yeah, and I got to go with the vanilla ones. And a close second are the snowballs. That coconut, man. I'm a coconut guy. Those are great.
I
What are those?
never cared for those much.
What are those things next to the zingers you got in there, sir? Are those the streusel cakes?
Spin wheel. Yeah, they're like streusel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do like the streusel cakes. Those are pretty good. The cinnamon streusel stuff is good with a coffee or water. It's just good.
Okay. Fourth row. I don't know why zebra cakes are on here again.
Yeah,
Nutty
those are good,
Buddies.
but we already did those, so I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ding dongs. Those are the bomb. Uncle Mike used to eat those.
Yeah, he did. He would have boxes and boxes of those.
Yeah. Ding dongs and Pepsi.
Yes, that he would eat those all the time. He got rid of his other addictions and then started on the ding dongs and Pepsi. That guy would see Lindsay's in. Yep, ding dongs.
Yeah.
Nutty Buddies.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's
Me and
Nutty
Lindsay
Buddies.
and I used to go up in Uncle Mike and Aunt Dee's room and steal those ding dongs out of their room. And that's for real. We did that.
You know what's sad is that they knew they had to keep them in their room.
Yeah, he had a refrigerator in there, and there was ding dongs and Pepsi in that thing. And if there wasn't nothing downstairs, we was sneaking up there, getting in there.
Oh my God. I'm a little upset that Ding Dongs and Nutty Butters are on the same line, because if Nutty Butters weren't there, I'd say Ding Dongs, but it's Nutter Buddies. Those are great.
Nutty Buddy. Keep
Yeah.
mixing up Nutter Butters
It's the
with
same.
Nutty Buddy.
You know what I mean. Don't correct me. This is my show.
I like to. My favorite way to eat a Nutty Buddy is to peel apart each of the wafer layers and eat them. So freaking good.
Oh no, you just got to munch the whole thing.
No.
All right. Okay. Bottom row.
I'm gonna do them fancy cakes.
I like the fancy cakes.
Oh no, it's the raspberry zingers.
Those are
Those
good
are-
too.
with the little coconut and yep. Okay. So out of all of these now, what's your top one?
Nutty Buddies.
I gotta stick with my honey buns, man.
It's the most boring one on here.
Them things are a bomb.
It's the most boring thing on here, for God's sake. Oh God.
A man after Melvin's heart.
That's right. Yeah.
What did he say?
He's a
Put
simple
them things
man.
in the microwave for just like 10 seconds. Man, they're good.
We get done. Nick's running to the store right now. I'm with Caitlin. It's Nutty Buddies.
Those are so good.
Yes, they are. All right. We're gonna end with this Am I the Asshole story. I can't. I read like the first few lines and I was like, I gotta wait. I gotta read. I just got. So
do we have another ad break before?
Oh yeah. Yep. So
here. I
know, right?
Can't you see?
So
charge.
that's right. Our other sponsor being Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. Mortgage rates are coming down. Now's the time to refinance. Or if you're looking for a second mortgage to do some work or whatever, rates are coming down. So now's the time. He can work in any state. So let's get a word from Kyle.
Are you in the market for a new house and unsure of the mortgage process? Want to know that you have someone looking out for you? Kyle Lehman from Wintrust Mortgage is a down-to-earth, knowledgeable lender who can be there for you in your corner. He can work with you in any of the 50 states and is just what you need to expand your home search. Kyle will work with you through the entire process with little to no work from you. Take the worry of the mortgage process out of the equation so that you can focus on looking for your dream home. Contact Kyle at www.wintrust.com/Kyle-Lehman or call him at 515-473-0546.
All right. Thank you very much, Kyle. I got distracted. Some guy actually applied for the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator job, and he received a handwritten letter back that says, "Thanks so much for your cover letter and resume. While your fantasy football experience is impressive, I regret to inform you that we've decided to go in a different direction. However, I hear the Bears have an opening. You look to be a perfect fit for them." That's about the funniest thing I've ever seen. All right. So the Am I the Asshole story begins. Am I the asshole for coming to dinner basically topless? Let me read this. All right. I've dreaded posting this for a while because I'm afraid I might be the asshole. But I just got to know. My parents-in-law and brother-in-law came to visit and stay for a month with my husband and I after I had my baby. For context, I'm German. My husband and his family are Italian. The baby was 3 months old at the time, and I breastfed her. Usually I'd just nurse on the couch in the living room, but because company was staying, I'd go to the bedroom. After I nursed her, she'd fall asleep and I'd take a nap and I'd have some free time. But since family was visiting, I tried to plan her naps around our mealtime to spend time with family uninterrupted. My mother-in-law has this thing that when food is on the table, you should be there pronto. Sometimes I'd be late coming to a meal because the babies can be unpredictable and she wouldn't fall asleep right away, or I nursed longer than normal. To this, my mother-in-law would barge into my room and announce food was ready, all impatient. This would startle the baby and made the process last much longer than it should have. The result is I had to eat much later than everyone else alone, and the food was cold. It left me fuming and more work to do with the baby. So this happened several times. I asked my husband to talk to his mom and explain that I can't always come on time. He did talk to her, but she did all this anyways. So I simply decided to stop being late for dinners. The next time she barged in my room and announced food was ready, I came without hesitation. I came to the table exactly as I was. No shirt, half a bra, baby hanging on to one tit. Nothing was seen as the baby's head covered up everything. But ensued an uproar. Goes something like this. Mother-in-law exclaims, "What the hell I'm doing at the table like this? I'm indecent and there are men at the table. I should be ashamed of myself." I told her back, what the hell does she keep calling me to the table for if I'm not ready? I have no reason to be in my room alone with my baby while everyone else is out here having a great time. My brother and father-in-law are trying not to get in on the argument, and the husband ushers me back to my room and gets mad at me. He takes his mother's side. He means he gets I'm frustrated, but didn't help anything. After the mother-in-law didn't bother again while I was busy with the baby. So what if I came to some meals a little after everyone started eating? The roof didn't cave in. Everyone else lived happily ever on. Am I the asshole?
No.
I got some
Absolutely.
shit to say about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, this is a whole thing of itself, because women, when they breastfeed in public, even if they are partially, like they're covered. I mean, if you can't sit at a meal with your son's wife feeding her child because her boobies might be showing, then you need to reevaluate yourself. You know what? You need to look into yourself and not at her. And if you can't be patient enough for her to finish feeding that baby without getting mad, like, you can't have it both ways, lady. This you know what I would have done? I would have came out topless and handed the baby to her and said, "Here, go come to dinner. You can feed the baby." Or
I'm pretty black and white on that. So, that this is what you wanted. This is what you get. That's my mentality. So.
Right. Listen.
And the fact that the husband got mad at her and escorted to her room. Ooh, I would have been so mad. I would have came out naked. I would have been so mad. I would not have. But my husband and his family would be leaving my house. You are my husband. You need.
All I know is I get pissed when the boys come down.
You don't undermine me in front of your family. You got a problem with me? You tell me later. You stick up for me even if you don't believe me right there in front of your family. I'm your wife. So I would do that if
really got her riled up, didn't we?
That is such
definitely a Shipley.
No kidding.
Two things that make me mad: spouses not being supportive of each other in public. You need to have a cohesive front. Even if you don't agree with what your spouse did, you can have that conversation later. That's what they're there for. And for him to make her feel like that with his family there, and then feeding a baby. Let the woman feed her baby.
Calm down, psycho.
You know what? I could be like, you know what? You think
Caitlin, you know where you went wrong in life?
This is what you sound like when you watch football. So don't even. At least I'm passionate about something.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is I get pissed when the boys come downstairs. I get pissed when the boys come downstairs without a shirt on. So I have a no shirt, no service policy at my fucking house. So you can't. So in turn, I would not have made her come out. I would have just let her eat whenever.
Or you would have waited. You would have came by and said, "How much more time do you need?"
Right.
Well, because that's what family does. You want to sit and eat dinner with us. Just tell us we'll eat when you come out.
Not our family. Not our family. All right. So I guess the consensus is that she's not the asshole and the mother-in-law is.
And the husband.
And the husband. That's right. All right. Well, we got to get out of here. Hold on. Wait, we got. Agree with you, Caitlin. I remember your dad having issues with me breastfeeding to see him. I don't. Listen.
Oh, here it comes.
Remember when you said it's great that Jess remembers everything? Sucks.
She doesn't forget nothing.
This sucks. I don't remember that. I don't recall ever being upset because you did your motherly duties. I think you're making that up.
No, you probably made some weird comment about her boobs being checked. I don't want to see that.
That would have been Melvin.
No, that would have been you. I could totally. You go, hey, you gotta do that right here. Do that right here with your uncle. That's totally something you would do, sir. Don't even lie. Not anymore. Not anymore. I would like to think that you.
That was BS.
That was BS. That was before safety.
That's right. I'm a different person now, so I'm much more refined. So
Yeah, me too.
that's right. We've evolved. We're so much better now. That's what happens when you get a good woman in your life.
Yeah. I've had
All
a few
right.
bad ones.
Right? I don't know that you were covered, Jess.
I was
I don't-
covered. Exactly. Don't worry. I'll handle it later. Because I'm going to
All right.
support my podcast partner now. That's the right decision, Dad.
There you go. See, right. She'll handle it later. I got that reference. Nice callback. Oh my God, Nick, this was so much fun. I wish that you were closer so that we could hang out more often.
Yeah, I actually got some plans to come up that way this year. So
Okay.
maybe bring the bike up and visit some people. And it's been a while since it's been too long since I've been up there. So
Yeah, well, and maybe we'll just make a little trip down there and we can see each other too. So
Do some shots.
absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely.
Well, we're out of here. I want to thank everybody for listening. God, that was fun.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
That was a lot more fun than Lindsay. You're a lot more fun than Lindsay.
I don't know about that. She's pretty goofy.
She is. I know. You know what we need? Here's what we need. We just need a whole cousin show. That's what we need.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That maybe we'll do that next time. We'll get Trav on, Jess,
Sure.
Caitlin, Nick.
Yeah.
It'd be good to catch up with everybody.
You know what? Maybe that's what we'll do. So that'll be a fun one. All right. We're out of here. Everybody have a great time.
Yep.
Thank you. Love everybody. We're out.
Are you in the market for a new
That's the wrong one. I don't even know what I'm doing. Close.